Hello, Potato, and welcome to Weekend Magic for July the 8th, 2023. Can you guess what we're talking about this week? But first, a discussion of the week, and there's not a whole lot to discuss. Well, there was lots of stuff released on Shop Disney this week. It was largely clothes. There were like some purses and some canisters and cheese boards, lots of cheese boards, a bunch of cheese boards. But the only things I found even like kind of remotely interesting were a couple Disney 100 pins and for the first time in probably a couple years, a Visa exclusive item, which I did not order because usually the Visa exclusive stuff sits there for a while and they are releasing a bunch of Haunted Mansion stuff on Monday. So I'm going to just kind of throw one of those in the basket then if it's still there. And if it's not there, then I love me some Cheshire Cat, but I don't want to pay shipping on a single pin just because it's a Visa member pin. But there's some new Haunted Mansion stuff on Monday, and while some of it looks like it's just rehashes of old stuff, the stretching room pillow, the weighted blanket, although I do love me a weighted blanket, the coffee mug, there is going to be, of course, some new Dooney and Burke bags, but those are like massively expensive, and we're not going to be getting those. They cost about as much as like this here did. But there is the Bride doll. Interestingly, it's the Bride, not Constance Hatchaway. And I think looking at the small picture of it I've seen so far, it looks like something we've seen before. I think was it the Adorable, where it was a combination of Constance and the classic Beating Heart Bride. So that would be like the second time I've personally wanted one of those big collector's dolls. The first one, indeed the only one we have that's like for me, was Sarge from Wreck-It Ralph. But that'll whatever we get from that, well, that'll be a future video. Today we're obviously talking about this. Last week I did mention that after the video I'd be hopping in line at my Lego store to get this. This, of course, being Kit 43222. It's 4,837 pieces, and it is, of course, the Disney Castle redone for the Disney 100th celebration. This, of course, replaces the Disney Castle they discontinued, I think, at the end of last year, which was a little bit smaller and a little bit cheaper. I think it was $350. This one sells for $400, and was, of course, done in different colors, but otherwise was essentially still Cinderella Castle. Now, you may be wondering, or maybe you're not, I have this rather expensive monstrosity of Lego beauty here. Why was there not a video for it? There's not a video for it because it's not mine. This is my wife's. This is part of her birthday present. And she spent the entirety of last weekend putting it together, pretty much from when we got home on Saturday until bedtime on Sunday. She did sleep in between. But her waking time was spent pretty much entirely building this. And at 4,800 pieces, this I think is the largest build in the house. I think this is bigger than anything I have done. The only thing I can think of that is close that I've done is the Ghostbusters Firehouse, which was 4,600 and change. So this is bigger than that. Also physically bigger than that. It's taller, it's got a bigger footprint. It's not as much of a box. But I thought, since she's built it, we would take ourselves a little tour of it, which does mean, of course, flipping it around and probably taking the camera off the stand here and kind of going in freehand with it, just because it is kind of big. It's so big that I have to set the camera to the widest angle setting, which means you're seeing a lot more of the mess, like all the little loose Lego bits I've left over from builds that I never clean up, and just kind of sit here in front of Boba Fett's palace. And you can see like my knockoff Rancor with an old SAC anime wristband on it. Yeah, it's a big build. It takes up a huge amount of space here on the table, and it's quite impressive. On the front side, there's not a whole lot particular to point out. We do have, of course, this nice kind of like barred gate thing going on here. The doors do open and close. My wife has embellished a little bit. She's put some of her figures around, like if you see up there, we do have Rapunzel up in the tower. Where else would she be? We have Snow White and her prince up here in the front. But pretty much all of the interesting things are viewable only from the back side, which means flipping this around. And since I'm going to do that anyways, I want to show you one. I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's not unusual. All the modular buildings do this. But you may be wondering, how do you move something this big? And the answer is it's not easy, but to make it slightly less difficult, some of it does come apart. Oops, that is not, there we go. Yeah, it actually comes apart in 3 pieces. We have the tower comes off. Then we have the main back here comes off. I want to be careful with it. There we go. So yeah, I mean, that is still a heavy, big, kind of unwieldy piece, but it's a lot easier to carry than trying to carry it with an extra 3 foot of Lego display on top. So I'm going to do a cut here. I'm going to flip this around, and then we'll take ourselves a little tour, a little walking tour of the Disney 100th anniversary castle. All right, so I am freehanding the camera now. It is no longer on the stand, so I apologize in advance, 1, if I get too close and things get blurry, and 2, if I move around too suddenly and it becomes a little nauseating. I will try to keep that under control, but no promises. So let's start down at the bottom. We do have Cinderella and her prince. I think he's just Prince Charming. I think, is it Snow White's that's Florian and hers is just Prince Charming, or is it the other way around? One of them's Prince Charming and one of them's like Prince Florian. And my wife has placed them in the center ballroom down here, where if you flip the little dial here, they dance. That'd be really cool if there was like a Beauty and the Beast minifigure in here, but there is not. There are Beauty and the Beast references, but there is no Beauty and the Beast. And then down here, when she was building this, I thought at first these pictures were actually like stained glass window sort of things, sort of like in the Haunted House drop tower, but they're not. They're just shiny stickers. And to be fair, the real castle, I'm pretty sure, doesn't have see-through windows anyways, so why would there be see-through windows here? Also, my wife has gone ahead and added some of the Disney 100 minifigure figures that she has in here. She did buy some extras, or rather we bought some extras intentionally to just to have, and included amongst those was the Evil Queen and Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, and he's here. You might think like it's a princess castle. Why is Sorcerer Mickey here? If you look over here, that is actually a Fantasia themed room. That is the fountain and the bucket and one of the brooms. Different, oddly, than the one that comes with Mickey. Yeah, it's only a couple things in the castle that aren't like directly connected to a princess movie. That's one of them. Moving on over to the outside, we have an area here that is meant to be inspired by Pocahontas. It's the leaves blowing in the wind. We didn't get a second Pocahontas figure, so we haven't added one in here. I mean, the one for my collection may go in there eventually, but for now, Pocahontas is just absent. Panning back over to the other side, we have the other item that's not a princess movie thing, and that is the Sword in the Stone. I think that's actually more of a reference to the one in the park. At least at Disneyland Park, the sword is set into an anvil instead of a stone. It looks like what we've got going on here, so I think that's more of a park reference than anything else. Then over here on this side, we have the Little Mermaid's candelabra with a, was it a dinglehopper? Is that what you called those? We have a Mulan room. We have a pumpkin, which I'm assuming is Cinderella. The Red Queen, which my wife has added in. Up here in the kitchen, we do have Tiana and the prince whose name I also forget. But if you look in the kitchen here, we do have Mrs. Potts and Chip. And then over here in the dining room, some more Beauty and the Beast references. That does appear to be Lumiere on the table. And the gray stuff, I hear it's delicious on the table. Then outside we have Dr. Facilier. Again, he's from the minifigure collection. He's not actually part of this set. This set came with, 8 figures. Cinderella and her prince, Snow White, up there, you can see it through the door, I think, and her prince. And the doors do open and close, but I'm not going to try to reach in there with my giant rock biter hands and knock things over. Tiana and her prince, and of course, up here in the tower, we do have our Rapunzel, and where is he? I think he may be at the front and you can't see him anymore, but there is a Flynn Rider figure. I think she put him at the front here somewhere. I have forgotten where he is, but he's here. I promise you he is here. Anyways, continuing the tour, we have some little Easter eggs here, some little hidden surprises in a place you wouldn't necessarily think to look. In this closed off room here, if you rip off the roof, there is some little, some more non-princessy stuff. We have a picture of Steamboat Willie, a wand, presumably Tinkerbell's, and a film camera, which is just got leaked. It hasn't actually been officially announced, I don't think. They're doing like a Disney 100 film camera set that's actually going to come with a Walt minifigure. So, frequently happens on these big sets. If you're not careful where you touch things, things fall off, and that's happening here. This is hardly the worst set I've ever encountered for that, but I do have to be very careful how I handle it or where I touch, because yeah, it will absolutely come apart very easily. All right, let's continue the tour. Up here, we have a room that is a combination. We have the rose from Beauty and the Beast. We also have the genie's lamp, and I believe that's a picture of Maui there on the wall from Moana. And the bookshelf, I'm guessing the bookshelf is probably also Belle. And we do appear to have magic carpet on the floor there. Moving on to the next room, we do have an artist's palette. And out the window, we can see the Light Festival from Tangled. Anything else on this floor? I don't think so. Moving upstairs, we have, looks like Sleeping Beauty's bed. And then we have the spinning wheel. And to me, these look like these should rotate. But, I mean, it feels like it should, but there's something sticking in there that's not letting it rotate. This one doesn't. But this one very much feels like it's supposed to go all the way around. Because I think from the front here, maybe from the sides, I think from the front you can see like some sort of green magic going on in there. But yeah, I think that's supposed to rotate around and it's sticking. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it just feels, I mean, it clearly wants to turn. So I don't know if it's sticking, if it's something that like not put in place quite right, because I can't see what it's catching on. So I don't know if it's supposed to be sticking or if there's a trick to it and I don't know what it is. But I don't want to push too hard on it. Well, not because of that, but just in general. Well, I am knocking things off now. But I feel like we're supposed to be able to spin whatever that green thing is around and see it. But it's something in here is hitting on something, and I can't tell what. But the more I handle this, the more pieces fall off of it. So let me break for a second here, fix it, and then we will continue the tour. We're almost done with the tour, but we'll finish the tour. Okay, so don't tell her, it'll just be our little secret, but I made some adjustments here so this can spin around now. And I don't know if it's supposed to or not, because this is what the other side has going on it. See, I don't know if that's just supposed to be visible from the outside, but I don't know why you'd make this on a rotating piece if they didn't want you to spin it around, you know? Is this a reference from the movie that I'm just not getting? Like, was there like, was the spinning wheel behind us like a secret door or something? In a fireplace? Or I haven't watched Sleeping Beauty in like so long. My closest experience with Sleeping Beauty has been actually going on the walkthrough of the original Disney Castle last December, which there is a video for if you're interested. All right, moving up the tower, we have the magic mirror from Snow White. Of course, we have it again down here with the Evil Queen. Honestly, I like that one better. I wish they had, I mean, I appreciate the reflective surface, but I think that would have been even cooler if they'd given us that awesome minifigure magic mirror face on it. But maybe that's just my opinion. Above that, we have Cinderella's slipper. And then up there in the very peak of the tower, next to the fireworks, which is made largely of yellow wands, we have Rapunzel's, well, at least the back of her head. Where is Flynn? There's Flynn. There he is. There's Flynn hiding there at the front of the castle. So yeah, those are the figures it comes with. And then, again, the Evil Queen, Dr. Facilier, Mickey, and the Red Queen have all been added in from the Disney 100 minifigure collection. Sadly, no Beauty and the Beast. We do, I think, desperately need a Beauty and the Beast in here. And I'm thinking they were part of a past Disney collection that maybe the first one that I didn't get much of had Beauty and the Beast. And I know Gaston's available in that villain set, but that's like $120. And mostly what I would want out of it is the minifigures. I don't really need Lego brick-built VHS cassettes. Although the Apple's kind of cool. Yeah, this is easily the biggest Lego build in this house. Biggest single set. I mean, if you count in things like my city sets or Halloween sets as a collection, no, this is not the biggest thing. But as a single, boxed kit, this is the largest Lego build in this house, and I didn't do it. But it is very impressive, and yeah, I mean, I'm glad we were able to get it early, because, July 1st was the July 4th, I think, was the official release date, but July 1st, if you were part of that exclusive club of Lego VIP, a club so exclusive you can only join it by signing up on a website, we wouldn't have been able to get it, and we wouldn't have it put together already. But I mean, look at all the detail in here. Look at the kitchen, the chandelier in the dining room, the chandelier down on the dance floor. And yeah, I like that there is a reference to Fantasia in there. I can speak today. I like the Sword in the Stone reference. Again, I don't think there's any minifigures for that. No Merlin, no Mim, no Arthur. Oh, another Easter egg. There is an apple behind that window. That's neat. Lots of little things in here. Lots of little references. Oh, that's also Moana's oar there, isn't it? Yeah, see, having not built it myself, there's a lot of things I haven't looked at that closely in here either to find all the Easter eggs myself. So you're probably seeing some in this video that I'm not mentioning, and if I'm not mentioning it, it's because I'm just legitimately not seeing them. But yes, it's a very impressive build, and now we are going to go find, well, actually, we already know, we know where it's going to go, where its forever home is going to be. But that is going to wrap us up for this week. I just wanted to take a little walking tour of the Disney 100 Cinderella Castle, and yeah, that's it for this week. I will mention actually one other thing, and I was actually going to do it in this video, but I thought, this is a grand enough thing. It deserved a video all on its own. But of course, if you purchased this, or indeed $100 worth of any non-Star Wars, non-Marvel, Disney stuff, you got this as well. Kit 40600, the Disney 100 Years Celebration set, which comes with a unique Mickey, a little film projector. It's got a light-up brick in it. It's got that Mickey tile again. And I was going to put it together in this video, and I thought, this deserves its own thing. This will get its own video. We'll do that probably in this coming week. And of course, also this coming week, again, we have the release of a whole bunch of new Haunted Mansion items, or I don't know if a bunch, hopefully not a bunch. Hopefully it's just the doll that I'm into, and I don't have to spend a whole bunch of it, because we also have the State Fair coming up this coming week, and I gotta have money for that too. That's gonna be the next, not tomorrow's video, the next 3 weeks of videos will probably be State Fair, at least the big Sunday ones, not necessarily the weekday ones. But yeah, it's a good build, and I'm glad that we got it. I'm glad my wife enjoyed putting it together. It is, again, quite a build. I think when I did the Ghostbuster Firehouse, which was, again, 200 pieces smaller, it took me weeks. I mean, of like doing it a day here, a day there. It took me like weeks to finish building it, and she did this all in the space of 2 days. But that will wrap this up. Let me know in the comments what bit you thought was the coolest in here, which references you liked the best. If you spotted references that I didn't mention, again, if I didn't mention them, I probably didn't notice them. So put in the comments what I missed. And yeah, let me know which parts are your favorite and which figures you would like to have seen added into here. I mean, I'm happy with the 8 that are here, but I would have liked more. I always would like more minifigures. But I hope you found our little tour here to be interesting or entertaining. If you did, go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.